Last time, on Daughter of the Twilight, Daughter of the Light, Zelda and Midna struggled to stay alive through the darkness. While Aura explained her situation to Link in the realm of nothingness, Russell explained his situation to Ilia. In the midst of all this, a woman's voice was heard crying out Zelda's name. This was the only opportunity there was. Russell and Ilia ran as fast as they could towards the area where the woman's voice was calling out. Ash and sand was being kicked up all around them, getting in their eyes and their mouths as they panted for breath, but they just kept running. The life of the princess was on the line here, and she was the top priority. She had to be protected, no matter what frivolous discomforts the two Ordanians suffered. Midna was holding tightly onto Zelda's hands, her eyes filled with tears.
Come on, wake up! I promise we make it, and I swear to the gods that if you make me break my promise, I'll...
But then she stopped, for she heard two people running up behind them. It was none other than Russell, that man from Ordon that was part of the resistance, and Ilia. Wait a minute, Ilia?
We heard you screaming. And something about the princess? What's happened?
She's not breathing. She's alive, but only barely. She couldn't handle the darkness. Please, do you know how to help? Can you help me? Please!
Ilia kneeled down towards Princess Zelda. She felt the area at her neck where the blood would pulse through. She let out a sigh of relief.
Yes, the princess is still alive, but if we don't do something soon, she won't even be that anymore. We can't lose her. Not her, too.
I think I can do something. I learned it from the Zoras a long time ago.
He leaned over the princess and pulled a lump out of his pouch. He stuck what looked like an old, dried-up fish in her mouth. It smelled absolutely awful. One can only imagine how badly it tasted.
I suddenly remembered the rootfish that Link had caught on our journey together. Was this the same kind of fish?
Soon, the Triforce symbol on the princess's hand began to glow. Quite brightly, in fact. Midna jumped.
Could it be because the Triforce was restoring Zelda's life force, like Gandalf had done for him? Or was her Triforce reacting to the other pieces? I did not know whether to be worried or glad.
Suddenly, Zelda jumped up with a start, coughing and sputtering. Russell handed her a canteen of water, which the princess gulped down. Very unladylike, but she just had to get that terrible taste out of her mouth.
You alright, princess?
Yes, I'm quite alright. Thank you for asking. Ilia? Ilia? How did you get here? And where is Link? Wasn't he with you?
Well, that's a long story, actually.
If you're here, Link must be somewhere here too, right? Is Link here? Tell me where he is, if you know.
I may not know how you knew Link, but before I answer your question, can I ask you your name?
It's Midna. What happened?
Midna, Link is... he's dead.
Midna blanched. It wasn't possible. It just wasn't possible. She brought her hands to her mouth to muffle a cry of anguish. Nothing around her seemed as though it was there. It was just her and her unbearable sorrow. Zelda put her hand on Midna's shoulder, which snapped the Twilight Princess out of her hysteria.
Midna, I think I know why Gandalf is back. There is a legend of my people that the darkness will never return twice in the same generation. However, if the remaining servants of the darkness can manage to take the blood of the hero who had slain their master, the darkness will become embodied once more.
Then why were you dragged into all of this?
Well, aside from the fact that I'm the princess, and ever since ancient times it has been the princess who the bad things befall, I am the one who carries the final piece of the Triforce.
Just as she said this, her hand began glowing with the symbol of the Triforce, even brighter than before. Out of the corner of her eye, Midna saw Zelda wince. Was it causing her pain?
In order to complete the seal, we need the blood of one of the royal family members. And of course, he'd want the Triforce I hold as well. And since Link is dead, he surely acquired his piece as well. I am what he needs.
That gives us all the more reason to protect you.
Thank you for your offer, but Gandalf cannot be killed unless he becomes whole. He is, if the legend is correct, only a shadow as of yet. No form of magical weaponry can smite him as he is now. I trust you all. Ilia, you have great courage, and judging from your wounds, you must have fought very hard up until this point. Russell, Not only have you dedicated your life to protecting my country through your involvement with the resistance, but you have helped our fallen hero more than anyone else he has ever known.
And then, almost sadly, she turned to face Midna and put her gloved hand on her face and wiped away her tears.
And Midna, you are the sister of my soul, and the true Twilight Princess. You've given Link courage and strength, and you've gotten us all out of some pretty awful trouble in the past. Though you've deceived all of us when you were hiding your identity, it was only to protect those around you and yourself. You've sacrificed your life to save both of our worlds, and you had the strength of heart to destroy the Twilight Mirror once and for all. You, perhaps, I trust above everyone else.
What are you saying?
Midna dove into Zelda and smothered her in a tearful hug. She sobbed into the princess's shoulder as Zelda returned the hug, trying her very best to comfort her friend. Russell and Ilya watched this tender scene like it was the most tragic thing in all of Hyrule.
I'm saying that I will gladly go to my death if I know that it will mean Ganondorf's defeat.
Back in the realm of nothingness, Aura was finishing up her discussion with Link.
You weren't kidding. You've had a hard life.
It isn't easy being chosen by the sages to do the impossible. And now, because of what I've done, both worlds are going to end.
But that still doesn't answer one question. Why are we the only ones here if we're dead? Shouldn't there be hundreds of other spirits wandering around just like us?
Exactly! That's why I think there's still a chance we aren't dead. And if we are, maybe there's a chance that someone could bring us back. Our spirits haven't reached the goddesses quite yet, and so we may still be able to return to life.
Well, that's good news at least.
If we aren't brought back soon, however, Ganondorf is sure to find the princess and kill her too.
Midna? Or do you mean...
Princess Zelda. Ganondorf needs the blood of a member of the royal family and the blood of the hero who killed him in order to come back. And since she has the golden power within her, as you did, Ganondorf is sure to go after her. And if I'm correct, Midna is with her. And that damned Ilya too. You must have found her by now.
Ilya? Oh, how could I have forgotten about her?
Good! You need to forget about her!
Aura, she's my best friend.
As long as it stays that way, I don't care, but I won't have you endangering my existence and causing some kind of freak paradox to occur or something because of your relation with her. Understood? What? What's so funny?
Ilya is just a friend. That's all she'll ever be to me. Is that why you've been so hostile towards her?
Aura blushed from embarrassment.
I shouldn't have been jumping to conclusions. I should have trusted in my future parents' love for one another a bit more. I guess I'm sorry about that.
You guess?
But then their chat was interrupted by a shrill screeching sound. Frigid wind began to tug at the two, whipping their clothes and their hair in every which way. They struggled to keep themselves upright. Link was clutching tightly onto his hat.
What's happening?
How should I know?
They were being pulled away from each other. They began to frantically reach for one another, but to no avail. They were going to be separated.
Aura!
We will meet again, I promise. You will forget me in time, but it will be alright.
How could I forget you?
It doesn't matter, but just promise me one thing, okay?
Anything.
Take care of my mother.
How?
It looks like my time here is up. Goodbye, Link. It was nice to meet you. Tell Ilya I'm sorry, and tell Midna everything is going to be alright.
But I'm dead.
Just trust me.
She was finally pulled so far away from Link that she was no longer visible. In fact, as she had been pulled away, she began to fade. Her time in the past was up, and she had to return to her own time. And since there was nothing in her own time, she was being sent directly to her death. But she wasn't afraid.
I have a feeling, a small glimmer of hope inside my heart, that everything's going to be okay. I've thrown off the course of my future, and now everything will fall into its place in due time. At least I hope so.
And then, letting a single tear slip down her vanishing face, Aura disappeared for good.